Today on Beamer Tech, we're going to be giving you a brief installation overview on how to install our front view camera on our F56 Mini paired with our wireless CarPlay and Android Auto MMI Prime. We'll get to the installation in a second, but let's take a moment to learn about this wireless CarPlay and Android Auto MMI Prime we mentioned. Not only is pairing your camera kit with our wireless CarPlay and Android Auto MMI Prime a more cost-effective solution, but this gives you access to wireless CarPlay, the ability to use a multimedia USB port with charging capabilities, full screen mode, easy control with iDrive, wireless Android Auto, front, rear, and surround view camera integration, and provide high-quality audio with an equalizer. Here are the tools you need for the job. When working on anything electrical in your car, you'll want to disconnect the battery. After popping the hood, remove this weather stripping. Rotate these locking tabs 90 degrees, then remove these three 8mm bolts. Remove the cover and use a 10mm socket to disconnect the negative battery terminal. Tuck it out of the way. With a pick tool, press in the center of the two tabs, holding the outer trim in place. You may notice some differences in the interior of this car from time to time. We are going to be showing footage from two different installations. While the car may be different, the installation process is the same. Once the center tab is pressed, use your fingers to pull them out. With your hands, work the outer trim off the center section. It may seem stuck near the top, but some even force will get it free. Using a T20 Torx bit, remove the two screws at the base. There is one more tab holding the center section in place. To get to it, we have to use a trim tool to remove the center speaker grill like so. With the trim tool or screwdriver, press down through the open slot near the front and press down to release a tab while pulling the center section out at the same time. It may take a few tries to get it right. If you feel the tab has been pressed down, use two hands to pull like I did. Once free, disconnect all of the cables. The first three shown are pinch and pull. The second to last is pull. And for the last one, press down on the tab and slide it out. It's tight and a trim tool can help. Now onto the head unit. Start by removing these AC vents by removing the Torx 20 screw in each, then pulling them out with a firm tug. Stay. Next, remove the four Torx 20 screws holding the head unit in. After these are free, pull the HVAC controls toward you. It's tight, so pull hard. There's one connector in the back, but you'll probably disconnect it when you pull the controls out. Now we need to disconnect everything from the head unit. Some cables don't have much slack, so try to remove what you can from here. For these, push down on the tabs and pull. For these few, pull the white tab, then press it in and pull down. At some point, you'll realize the head unit can be slid out, and you can disconnect the rest pretty easily. For the quad lock, pinch in the sides, rotate the arm, and pull the harness out. It is easier than I made it look. Now we need to remove the front bumper of the Mini. There are quite a few bolts to remove. First, on each side is a T30 bolt on the side under the wheel arch and an 8mm bolt on the bottom side. For the front, there are 5 T30 bolts across the top and there are 3 8mm bolts across the bottom under the car. To get under here, use a trim tool to pop the arches out. Use the same trim tool to disconnect any lights or sensors you may come across. Once everything is disconnected, the bumper will pull off. When it comes to the camera lead, feed this section from the cabin into the engine bay. Once you route your cable, take the supplied heat shrink and slide it over. Make your connection. Slide the heat shrink over. Heat it up with a heat gun so that way you could form a watertight seal. We're going to need to run the camera cable through the firewall. Here is the location we'll want to do this in. For the other end of the lead, once you're in the cabin, you're going to want to connect this, which is going to attach to our MMI, to this end of the camera lead. You'll see two arrows here. Line up the arrows, and your connection is made. This area is accessed under the dash here. Russ tapes the leads to a large cable tie and pulls it through the access point in the firewall. Run the cable to the center of the front of the car, being careful to keep it away from the engine to avoid heat and moving parts. Use cable ties to secure the lead in place. The camera is going to sit here, but some material from the bumper needs to be removed. These cameras come with a bracket to make mounting easier in different situations, but Russ found it easier for this install to take the bracket off, so that's what he went ahead and did. Russ carefully does so with a Dremel tool. The camera can then be secured in place. This customer opted for our wireless CarPlay and Android Auto MMI Prime, so that makes integrating this camera easy. Remove the fiber optic cable from the factory mini harness by gently pushing up on the tab holding it down and pull out. Place it in the same location on the BeamerTech harness. Take the other end of the BeamerTech plug-and-play harness and plug the factory mini harness into it. We have to remove the factory LCD cable. The factory one will go from the head unit to the MMI, and our LCD cable will take its place. There are a couple connecting tabs you need to pop out. Place the factory cable into the LCD in of the MMI. Take our LCD cable and feed it through where the factory one used to be. Now we'll mount the Wi-Fi antenna to this plastic wall at the back. Remove the backing of the double-sided tape and stick it to the plastic wall. For the AV USB harness, take the USB cable and feed it through the generous hole Mini allows near the driver's side. Shining a flashlight helps you to find it easily. Plug the other end of that harness into the MMI. Do the same with the power connection on the main harness as well. Plug in the antenna cable and the BeamerTech LCD cable you ran earlier. Tidy up any cables you feel you need to. We just did so with the Wi-Fi antenna. To plug in the front camera to the AV USB harness on the MMI, line up front camera to front power, and the RCA lead to front camera. With the lead run from the center of the car, simply plug the camera into the AV USB harness of the MMI Prime. Tuck your MMI in this slot like so. Now it's time to hook the head unit back up. First, plug in the BeamerTech plug-and-play quad lock. After that, rest the head unit in place and begin plugging in everything you unplugged before. Tuck everything in place and push the head unit into place. Replace all 4 screws. You might find it easier to tighten them down in a star pattern to pull the head unit down evenly. Reconnect the screen the same way you took it out, but now with the BeamerTech LCD cable. After this is done, this is a great time to reconnect your battery and give everything a quick test to make sure everything works. You might also want to do this before screwing down the head unit, but hey, I was feeling confident. Reinstall the HVAC controls and AC vents. After that, work the screen back into place. Finally, reinstall the 2 bottom screws. Trim ring. Center speaker grill. And 2 pins in the bottom. For the pins, make sure the center plug is out so you can push it in to lock it. If you want to get this kit for your car, head on over to our website and enter your VIN and get the kit that fits your ride. If you want more tips and tricks about Minis, BMWs, and Supras, make sure you subscribe and don't forget to ring that bell. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok as well. And don't forget guys, if you want to meet us in person, you can come on down to Beamer Tech Orlando in Orlando, Florida at any time.